Hey.
I guess straight up, what are you expecting from Venezuela this week? South American opposition's a different look for you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's an opposition that we haven't really faced so far. Well, at least I haven't faced so far. And no, it's very exciting. Of course, they have a lot of talent. Playing overseas in Europe, they've got some really top players, and it's going to be a tough opposition, I believe. And it'll be interesting. You watch South Americans team play all the time, and you can see how aggressive they are, and how technical they are, how much they love football, and they're very passionate as their fans are as well. And so I'm very excited to play against this type of opposition. I think it'll suit us very well to bring the fight out of us, and I'm very excited for it.
Now, Max Jackson Irvine back in the mix. You've mostly been, well, really, you've been playing since he's been out. Do you feel like A, you can play alongside him, or B, compete with him if you have to for that starting spot in midfield?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's the captain as well. He's led the Australia for many games as well, and I'm just trying to learn off him as much as I can. He's in one of my first few camps with the national team. He was a really nice guy to me. He took me under his wing a bit and taught me a few things. So no, he's a top player. I'm really happy to see him back in camp. That he's healthy, because it's very important for the nation, and as well as myself, to compete with a player of this quality is something that I aspire to achieve. And no, whether it's playing alongside him, I believe we'd play really well alongside each other. But if it is to compete, then I know it's just going to make me a better player as well. So I'm really looking forward to having him in camp and continuing to build that relationship with him.
Vince.
G'day, mates. How's your form and how's your hunger in a piece of Venezuela this week?
Yeah, no, I'm very excited. Of course, always excited when representing Australia, but to represent Australia in America against South American opposition is something very special. I mean, some may say South America is the home of football for many. So no, I'm very excited. Of course, the fight that you see in those tournaments down here in South America would be are quite aggressive, quite special. So no, I'm very excited. I think the kind of rugby spirit that we have in Australia will definitely help us in these games as well.
It kind of looks like this is a bit of an experimental Socceroos lineup. Does it feel like that in camp? And or does Tony give you some sort of indication of where you are in the pecking order, other than maybe picking you in the game?
No, I think it's a camp to build on the quality that we have and that we've been developing throughout the series of games that we've played. I think it just adds a bigger pool of players that are available for the World Cup. I think it's very exciting for not only us as players, but Australia as a whole, to see the talent that is coming through with players that are still to make their debuts, and some that are returning from their injuries, for example, or coming back as like very experienced players. So no, it's very exciting. I think it goes to show that there are a lot of players that can play at this level with Australia, and it's a good group that are aspiring to achieve something very special at the end of the day. And we've got a big tournament coming up next season, so and next at the end of this season. So I think everyone's very eager to show what they can do, and as myself as well.
Jake.
Max, thanks for your time, mate. I noticed actually on the weekend for Nakarita, you actually played centre back. I mean, what happened there that you slotted in defence, and pretty wild game too with two red cards?
Yeah, a bit of a crazy game that was. Of course, we had some injuries at the back, and so our coach needed some players to fill in. And knowing Dutch football with the technical qualities that it requires, he thought it'd be a good fit for me as well to slot back there. And I did. I had to do what I had to do for the team, and it was quite an experience. Of course, uh, during the game, I found myself in the midfield quite a lot as well, just naturally because of the like tactical decisions of the coach. But no, it was a crazy game. Unfortunately, the two red cards didn't help us in the end. Obviously, leading 1-0 at halftime, we thought we had the game under control. And yeah, I guess it's just unfortunate decision, maybe a lack of discipline a little bit. But these things happen, and we needed to be a bit stronger and solidify the result, even though we were with a couple men down. So unfortunately, it didn't go our way. But no, it's still a long season, plenty of football to be played, and I think we're very excited for where we can go, knowing that we'll learn from these mistakes and develop as a team.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, mate. I mean, the other one is a few weeks ago. I saw you had a pretty interesting game against David Krustic and Heracles as well in the cup, and you're scoring a pretty wild goal. I mean, did you guys talk about it after that? Was there a bit of banter around the goal that he scored and the fact that they knocked you out?
Yeah, well, yeah, it was definitely not the result that I wanted, but he scored an absolutely beautiful goal. I mean, from 25 plus meters out on his left foot, but we know the quality he has, and he showed it in that moment. It was unfortunate, and we had beaten them in the league just before, and so we had a funny little chat, and then yeah, of course, unfortunately, I didn't get to see him so long after the end of the game, of course, but. No, I very happy for him, and they seem to be going on a roll again since that result, and so yeah, it's definitely pushing us to make sure that we get some points as well for us in the league. So no, he's done very well over there, and hopefully he keeps building on those performances.
Garby.
Max, can you give us some insight into the feeling in the camp right now? It was pretty much the penultimate window before the end of the season, and then the squad gets selected. Has the feeling gone up a little bit in terms of the competition? Are you more aware now that the time's actually against players in terms of pushing your case for that World Cup spot? Is that feeling in the air a bit more now?
I think throughout the whole time that I've been in camp, at least the past few camps, everyone knows that it is an opportunity to show what you can do. It's been, I think the vibes in this camp are pretty similar to most camps. Everyone's got a good spirit. Everyone's in high spirit, hoping to show what they can on the pitch. But of course, in training, that's where it starts, and everyone's bringing their best game, and they're preparing for these trainings as much as they can. And I think it's definitely an opportunity for a lot of players to show what they can do. And I'm no different. I'm trying to do my best in this camp, but the bond within the team is growing every camp. I think relationships between players are growing. The camaraderie is excellent, I believe, and it's a really nice feeling to be in camp with boys that really support you in every way possible. Not only do they support, but I guess they push you to be at your best, because you know that at the end of the day there is a spot at the World Cup that we're all fighting for. So it's definitely a good mix, a good balance, and I think it'll bring us very far.
And what's Popper had to say about where he wants you to ideally take a step forward in this window? Defensively, the team's looked really strong since Popper's come in. Has there been any word about trying to take things up a level in terms of moving the ball and creativity going forward?
Of course, it's a conversation, a very personal conversation between me and him. But no, we're definitely building on things throughout the camp. So in the training sessions, there's little tactical things that we're trying to build, some patterns within our game that we're trying to include, so that when the time comes under pressure, we're naturally aware of where we're meant to be, what we're meant to do, where we're looking to pass the ball, and to give us the best opportunity to get more goals as well. Of course, we've got some talented players up top who are doing a great job, and they've been doing a great shift in defense as well to support us, because the defense starts from the top and the attack starts from the bottom. So no, everyone's really aware of where they need to be in certain situations, and I think it's just confirming that and pushing that forward so that it just gets imprinted in everyone's mind and everyone's on the same page. Of course, these camps are not very long, so it's not so easy sometimes to get everyone on the same page, but I think we're doing a great job and we're really building towards that. So no, I'm very excited to really push forward in this camp and build on the performances from last camps, and hopefully we can do something very special.
Luke.
Hey Max, thanks for your time, mate. A couple of camps in a row now for you. It wasn't that long ago that you came in and then missed a couple of camps. What did Tony say to you about what he wanted to see from you in that time between call-ups?
Yeah, I think he just wanted to see me develop as a player. I think during my time at NAC Breda, I was developing week in, week out, and I always aspired to improve. And I think over time, I gradually put my foot forward and showed him that I have been improving since the first camp that he brought me in, which I was very grateful for. And And since then, I've tried every step of the way to improve, whether it was technically, physically, mentally, all aspects of the game, pretty much. And I think I've matured a lot since the first camp that he brought me in, and it's helped within these last few camps. And thankfully, in September, when I finally got my opportunity, I was ready and scored a goal, which was an incredible feeling. But no, I know that I'm nowhere near where I want to be. I think I got a lot more improvement to make, and I'm very excited to make those improvements. And I think in an environment like this, it just supports that pathway. And I'm really excited for the future on what I can develop and what I can bring to this team.
Last window, Tony sort of came out of it and told us that he was really happy with the physicality of the group, and that Canada and USA didn't like the fact that we were sort of sticking up for ourselves on the field against South American opposition. Do you think it's going to be just as fiery, if not more fiery?
I think personally, I think it'll be even more fiery, but that's the way I like it. I don't mind the physical side of the game. I enjoy the battles. Of course, we had a few against Canada and the US, and I think the camaraderie in the team could be seen in those moments as well. The amount of boys that go to support when in those moments where there is a little bit of a push and shove just goes to show how much we back each other and how much we're there for each other as a team. I think that team spirit brings us a long way, and with the defensive aspect that we've already shown that we're quite good at, I think the team spirit in that and the physicality that we needed to achieve that is being proven. So no, I'm very excited for these games against Venezuela and Colombia. I think hopefully there won't be any cards involved, but I just enjoy the moment, enjoy the game, and at the end of the day, after the whistle's all done, we'll shake hands with them and we'll be professional. So that's what football's about.
Ben.
Hey Max, hope you're well. Obviously you've been in a few international camps now, you started a few games. What have you made of the step up from club to international level, particularly as it pertains to how midfielders operate? Like when you've been starting in the middle of the park, what have you noticed about how other international teams play through the middle of the park, and how have you had to adapt your game at all in terms of playing for the Socceroos compared to playing for NAC Rota?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's certain things that are a bit different between club and international level. Of course, the intensity also is quite impressive straight away when you're playing against players that play in Europe week in, week out in the top 5 leagues. For example, against Canada and the US, there was players that were playing in Italy, for example, like Juventus or clubs like this. It's where you want to be at club level. So no, it's very exciting. Of course, I think playing at NAC Breda has really supported me in that step towards the international level. Of course, playing against oppositions like Ajax, PSV, Feyenoord, you kind of come up against maybe even Dutch internationals pretty regularly in the Eredivisie. So no, it's definitely supported me in that aspect. But at the same time, you're playing with new players. In a short space of time, you have to create these bonds and these connections with the players that are almost automatic. And for a big example for this point is with Cam Burgess behind me. The amount of communication he gives me in midfield is amazing for me. As a midfielder, it makes my game so much easier defensively and in attack. And the support he's given me straight away from my first game to now, it's been incredible. So there's little things like that make a big difference in the way you play. But it's very supportive, and I think hopefully I can just continue to build on that and continue to build on my club level and see where that takes me, because I really love these type of games, playing against best opposition. You gotta beat the best to be the best. So that's what I'm trying to aspire to be.
And we're about 7 months out from I think we're exactly 7 months out from the opening game of the World Cup. With you being in America at the moment, Australia had a couple of camps now in North America. Is it starting to feel a bit real, even though you won't know whether you're in the squad for another 6.5 months?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we were just driving from training this afternoon, and you see a sign already talking about the World Cup and how many games are going to be played in Texas. So no, it's very exciting. I think it's definitely building, and I think the American people will really grasp onto it as soon as the games start getting closer and they see how much international presence the World Cup brings. I think the US will just eat it up even more. Already you can see the MLS is growing week in, week out, and I think by the time the World Cup comes, all these countries, Mexico, US, Canada, will just explode, and it'll be a big event, I believe, and I'm very excited to see what it's going to turn out to be, and very excited to see if I can put my foot forward and be part of it.
Couple more. Hands up. Okay, all good. Oh, hang on. Luke, just in time.
Sorry, I was just trying to find the button. Tony told us the other day just about the impact of altitude on the playing group. Obviously, in your position, mate, it's not easy. Can you just run us through what it was like for you out there and things you might have learned from that again, should you be at the World Cup, that you can take into your prep?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, playing in Denver was a great opportunity to test our conditioning and play at an altitude that is probably not normal for a lot of the players in the camp. So, no, it was very exciting. I think I didn't necessarily notice it that much. I think maybe it was the preparation we had leading up. Of course, we have a lot of experts here that help us prepare for these type of conditions. We had like beetroot juice every day leading up to those games, which was probably not the best tasting, but it's something you have to do. And I think in the end, it really helped. Of course, I think the only thing I noticed that was a big difference was that after maybe like a big sprint effort, it might take you a bit longer to recover from those moments. But I think in the end, we really prepared for those situations. We had even talked about it in a mental aspect as well, and any breathing techniques that we could apply during the game if we do get into situations where we feel a bit tired. So no, we're really on top of everything in this camp, and I think that's what's so exciting about being part of this type of environment, that we're really proactive in making sure that we're ready for every situation, every sort of scenario. And of course, there's a chance that we'll be based in Mexico during the World Cup, so that's a massive altitude over there. And but I think no matter where we play, we'll be ready for it, and we'll do all the preparation needed to make sure that we can compete at the highest level and prove a lot of people wrong, I believe.